What's up, Crypto Crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Mite, actively escaping the Matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, the other day, Juni Ho of the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation mentioned in a recent space on X, progress is progress. Speaking of which, later in today's vid, we will hear from Juni talking about what is considered a top 10 crypto exchange in the world. Stay tuned, Crypto Crew.
Okay, guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Keep your Kaspa coins, your Bitcoin, and crypto investments safe via self-custody. In our opinion, the Tangent wallet is your best option, and there is a Black Friday special where you can get 30% off plus $10 in Bitcoin. Just add code BF2025 to our channel code Crypto Crew to avail. Link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
Are you agree with Kaspa's hit $10? Da Vinci, not Jeremy. Possible, right? But let's just take a look. I mean, here's the thing, right? Eventually, all these crypto assets will blow up into crazy numbers, but only because the dollar collapsed.
Crypto Crew, making any price prediction is futile in my personal opinion. That's why I've stopped making them. All we can do is watch and study the market, as we should study, period, and continue to study fundamentals for any of the crypto projects invested in, especially for a project such as Kaspa. Then, of course, talks about exchange listings surface almost immediately. The other day, Juni Ho of the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation joined the blockchain banter on X with some of the usual suspects like Chris Hutchinson, Wolfie from Wolfie's Bar, shout out to them, and Juni had some interesting updates regarding exchange listings. Listen in, Crypto Crew.
I would actually love to explain a little bit about what's going on and how listings these days actually work like, just for information of the community. Obviously, like whatever I say would be, trying to wrap up what KEF is doing, but I guess it's just factually true, and people should be, informed of those. So in short, the exchange we've been speaking with is HTX. I think some people guess that. In general, that they ask for a fee, but not crazy. So we kind of agree to that. For the past, of course, some people may think it's not big enough, but we always think that the progress is the progress. For Whitebit and for Kraken USDT trading pairs, and now for HTX, if they ask for a fee that we deem as reasonable, we will actually pay for it. But I'm not sure if many of the community understand this, but it's actually true that Kaspa is very developed and very new chain. It's UTXO model, and it's 10 blocks per second now. So it's actually presented a lot of challenges for exchanges to integrate on this new chain. Some of this cost may actually be covering their developer expenses. Let's say people work for a month or 1.5 months, that's actual costs. So that's why it takes a lot longer. I can see a lot of times that the HTX exchange teams is asking questions to Coder of Staff and other Kaspa core people in the group chat saying, hey, they have these bugs, they have these issues, they want to. Yesterday, I think they were talking about the orphan trees or history or something like that. I'm not an expert on those. So yeah, I think things are in progress. We also approved their so-called budget for listing. I mean, that could have happened last week, but I think they're trying to secure their technology and so on. So that could happen like the next week or something. That's what I learned from. Again, I'm not entirely sure on the community's position on if we should actually care that much about centralized exchanges. But again, just for information, like a few weeks ago, is this guy on Twitter called Crypto to Die, I think, that's was performing the so-called pressure test on Kaspa. So you can see that Kaspa network has been experiencing 3,000 to 4,000 transactions per second all the time. And that's really awesome because it's kind of incredible and the only time that a proof of work network can do that. But if you were in those exchanges groups, you will see a lot of messages popping up every day during those days. They were mostly using the API.kaspa.organizations, and those APIs are not strong enough to support this 10 blocks and high TPS. Of course, to be very fair, this is not anything wrong with Kaspa. Kaspa is fantastic technology. It's about the problem of infrastructure as there's no strong enough node services for exchanges, but exchanges like BitGats, they're saying, hey, it's a problem with Kaspa, and you have to explain to them. So yeah, like sometimes it's very challenging for centralized exchanges to interact with Kaspa when they are mostly used to EVM compatible chains, and then these days mostly just tokens, not coins, because you're not actually seeing a lot of new layer ones these days. That's why it sometimes takes a little longer, but trust me that everyone is trying their best to get Kaspa listed in as many places as possible. Of course, everyone wants Binance, OKX, and Coinbase, but who knows, right? Like any single step forward is a step forward. That's what I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Junie. And like you said, because it's such brand new architecture to them, most of them are used to just copy paste because it's like, again, most of the stuff that they list is EVM compatible. But because Kaspa is its completely own layer one proof of work, they have to deal with a whole new architecture. Is that sort of the main reasons for tier ones, do you think, maybe not listing as quickly?
For some tier ones, yes. But for, let's get to the straightforward to the heart of the question, right? For Binance and Coinbase and OKX, this is not the major reason. They have enough developers that can support this. For smaller exchanges, that is partly the reason. I mean, I can do like a 40 minutes talk on why tier ones are reluctant or what are the major resistance there. But, just to be concise, they don't feel that they get enough interest given the fact that a lot of the Kaspa community members might already be the users of Coinbase or Binance. And that's why actually that's quite interesting. Like sarcastically, when there is this delete your accounts and Binance movement by the community, it actually works. Like Binance people try to message us by saying, hey, can you help control the situation? And we're like, look, we have no control over either Mr. Y or the naturally formed, the spontaneous Kaspa community. We cannot help with that. But back to the topic. So they feel like a new chain should be able to get the new KYC users, and Kaspa with, not being seen as a new project, that they feel like they're not getting the new users. So there's actually some strategy that we sometimes can work around to get exchanges to work with us. I will not disclose the name, but for one of the exchanges, that one of the tricks we're doing is that, so I found about 30 or 40, like I think 34, 45. I have a group of my friends. I said, hey, you guys all go deposit about 80 to 90,000 bucks in this exchange. Because for that exchange, the VIP user gate was like 100,000 US dollars, right? And if you can get a VIP users, if you're a BD of that exchange, then you get bonus. And we're like, hey, you guys, all of you go deposit like 80 or to 90,000 bucks and wait for them to reach out to you. And you all tell them, hey, that's all the USDT or other assets I have, and the remaining assets I have are Kaspa. So if you can lease Kaspa spots, then I can deposit in my Kaspa spot. I will be a VIP user, get the bonus, or I cannot help too much with that. So this might work for smaller exchanges, but this kind of strategy doesn't really work for tier one. I mean, Coinbase and Binance and OKX. For Coinbase and Binance, the elephant in the room is that they want a very high fee of listing. I think they didn't really spend any time studying Kaspa, and especially Binance is too proud and too arrogant to read anything we sent to them. They don't understand why, we don't have the tokens or coins to pay for the listing fee. They feel that we are a very high market cap project, so we must be able to afford it. And we are trying to explain to them, we cannot really afford that, and they were like, just thinking we're lying or something. Yeah, so for the really tier one exchanges, the tax difficulty is not the major challenge, to be very honest. The challenge is still around the fees, but because I personally don't really think that tier ones are that important. I mean, FTX used to be super huge, but it just collapsed overnight. So I feel like the tier ones are not the problems, but for smaller exchanges, I mean, especially, if you spoke with Jonathan these days, you'll hear him mention about the sovereignty of minor hubs. For smaller developers and smaller, let's say, nodes and potential services that can run on Kaspa, this integration difficulty is going to be a huge challenge. Yeah, so that's the actual takeaway. I don't want to just blame the tier one inability to lease on the innocence of technology difficulties. That's just not true.
So Junie Ho of the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation confirms the top tier exchanges do ask a listing fee after all, irrespective of what their channels and spokespersons may say officially. We'll see what happens with that regarding OKX, Coinbase, and Binance. Perhaps Binance doesn't think Kaspa will bring in new users to their platform, as their perception of Kaspa might be that Kas is a high cap project, thus expect to meet their demands regarding the the spot fee listing as shown by Chris Wolf aka Wolfie recently, whilst not understanding Kaspa at all from a fundamental point of view.
The fundamentals are literally the same. In fact, they're even better. The only thing that changed was your mood.
Be that as it may, the good news is Kaspa is seemingly closing in on an HTX spot listing, which according to CoinMarketCap at the moment still is a top 10 crypto exchange in the world. To be continued, crypto crew. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say I.